Ghostface knocked to the outside and run back by number 40. And Cincinnati Jammer up top, number 12 being held, and just gets through on that inside line. Second lead jam of the game today. Ghostface still stuck, and almost through on the inside, knocked down. Is she inbounds? Hard to see. Looks like yes, inbounds, an initial pass for Ghostface. Smearcat has made her way around the track and has scored 4 points and calls off the jam. At the beginning of the third jam, the score is Cincinnati 11, Crooked River 0. Next up on the jam line, we have number 2-8, that is Fall from Grace for Crooked River, and Lil Bruiser, number 17 for Cincinnati. Whistle is blown. Grace hits hard on the back of the pack, but is contained by a wall. And it looks like up on the top, number 17 has drawn the pack out, has been declared lead jammer, but number 2-8 is out and right behind. Looks like number 1-7 is going to call off that jam to prevent Crooked River from scoring points, still freezing them at 0. Out on the jam line next, we have number 1-9 for Crooked River, Violet Voltage, versus number 8-7, Fruit Punch from Cincinnati. Jammers look like they're having a friendly conversation right before the beginning whistle. 5 seconds has been called. The whistle will be blown shortly. Jam is on. Number 8-7 shooting to the outside. No luck there. Shoots back to the inside. But it looks like we have Violet Voltage as first lead jammer for Crooked River in this game. 8-7 has taken off the cover. It is looking to pass. Violet is on a scoring pass right now, knocked to the outside, recycled back, making her way through the pack once again. Number 8-7 still with that jammer cover in her hand, working her way still at the back of the pack, and Violet scores the first 4 points for Crooked River in this game. Other jammer still stuck in the pack. Nice spin though on that inside line, but is knocked down. Has dropped the cover, but was able to recover it. Continues to skate, but is still blocked by a 3-wall at the top of the pack. Almost through on the outside, but knocked out of bounds at that last second by Panic Attack. Violet Voltage still on that second, I believe, scoring pass at this point. Recycled to the back of the pack by Cincinnati blocker. It looks like Cincinnati jammer has made it through, is putting the star back on so that she can score points, but Violet says, not on my watch, and calls off that jam. Crooked River was able to score 7 points on that jam. They're only trailing by a few behind Cincinnati. Next on the jam line, we have number 2-4 River Runner versus number 7-5 Jaws. At that 5-second call, Crooked River is going to skate back towards the jam line. As soon as the whistle is blown, Jaws takes off, shooting for a way through the pack, but is successfully blocked by Crooked River at the top. But does manage to get through on the inside line, getting lead jammer for Cincinnati. Number 11, Space Outlaw, was able to knock a blocker out of bounds, clearing up a bit of a hole for River, but she has been sent to the box for a penalty. Cincinnati with a first scoring pass on this jam. River will be sitting for that 30-second penalty, which leaves Cincinnati out there scoring points. Crooked River trying to block, but number 7-5 making short work of that wall, scoring another 4 points. We see Cincinnati returning with a full wall out there, perhaps to offer some offense. Offense not needed for this jammer, number 7-5, as she scoots right through the pack. The jam has ended, but River was able to get out of the box, so we will have next on the jam line number 28, that is Grace. And then we also have, it's hard to see through all the ponytails, number 58 for Cincinnati, Super Snake. Both Grace and Super Snake trying to find a hole on the outside. Both were deferred by that wall. Grace is able, though, to get through right through the middle to be declared lead jammer for Crooked River in this jam. Other jammers still stuck on that wall. Right now it looks like it is just Panic Attack and Bilbo Bashins. Oh, Bilbo Bashins has gotten a penalty. I believe it was a direction or a forearm, not sure. Other jammer for Cincinnati is through, though, and on a scoring pass. Coach is calling for Grace to call it off, and she does. Cincinnati maintaining the lead right now with 23 points over Crooked River with 11. On the jam line, we have number 113, Ghostface, and number 17, Little Bruiser. Little Bruiser skating back, far from the jam line, but now coming back up, getting a little bit of a head start there at the jam whistle. Right through the inside line, sneaky, sneaky, we have a lead jammer for Cincinnati. Ghostface is blocked to the inside of the track, is run back by number 21 from Cincinnati. And then we can see that Tiny Tornado with a big run back for Cincinnati's jammer, bringing them back about 20 to 30 feet or so. But Cincinnati has scored 4 points on that so far. We see 2 blockers reporting to the box, 1 for each team. Ghostface has gotten through with an initial pass, but Lil Bruiser is going to call off that jam before Crooked River could score. At the end of that jam, we have Cincinnati with 27, and we have Crooked River at 11. Up next on our jam is number 87, Fruit Punch from Cincinnati against number 19, Violet Voltage for Crooked River. Both teams have a 3 wall, as they still each have a blocker in the box. Timeout has been called. Looks like it is an official timeout. Perhaps checking on a score or something like that. This does give our teams a few minutes. Looks like coaches are headed out to the track to maybe give a little bit of strategy to their skaters that are out there. We have the 2 teams in their separate huddles. We also have the referees out there in the middle in their own huddle. Thank you so much for joining our live feed today, hosted by Crooked River Roller Derby. Hoping that you'll be able to stay tuned for our next game, which will be our level 2 skaters still playing against Cincinnati. Might be a good time to give a few shout outs to some of our referees, our skating officials that are out there today. It looks like as head skating official, we have Filet official, pretty much roller derby famous at this point. She's reffing all over the place. I also see Nick Tater out there, and I believe I see Sir Feckham and Brianna Ruins. There are some others, but we'll get to those momentarily. Still a part of that official timeout. Oh, here we go with 5 seconds. So the skaters are getting ready. Jammers are returning behind the jam line. Whistle is blown. Cincinnati jammer makes it back just in time. Violet Voltage taking some big steps towards that wall, but they're holding her. She's bringing them to the ins and the outs. Same with our Cincinnati jammer, number 87. Violet almost through on the outside, fighting to stay in, but knocked out by number 58 and run back probably a good 15 feet or so. Cincinnati Jammer trying to skate through the pack backwards, but is knocked to the inside. Panic Attack giving some good defense, but nice offense given by number 47 for Cincinnati. Violet Voltage being called away on a penalty. We are now on a power jam. Cincinnati blockers working to give some offense to their skater there. The Jammer is making her way through the pack one by one. Panic Attack is called on a forearm on the outside line. Jammer only now has to get through two blockers. It looks like Banshee and Goose. Jammer is through. Lead Jammer for Cincinnati. Goose is called, I think it was Goose called off on a penalty, but is skating back onto the track. Violet is back on the track and skating through, trying to get the initial pass for Crooked River. Finding a hole on the outside, just kind of foot by foot making her way through that pack, but Cincinnati threw on a scoring pass for 4 points. Nick Tater calling a Cincinnati blocker off the track for a penalty. And Panic Attack swooping in with a little bit of offense for Violet, but she's on the outside and was unable to see that. Another Cincinnati blocker being called off the track. We see Cincinnati Jammer coming in. Not sure if she got that last point there on the outside. Looks like scoring 3 more points at the final seconds of that jam. Score right now, Cincinnati with the lead, 35 to Crooked River 11. Cincinnati doing a nice job holding Crooked River at that 11 points for a few jams now. We have a timeout for white team. During this timeout, I think it would be a great time to announce some of our Crooked River roller derby skaters that we have out on the track today. We have number 00 Goose. We have 08 Bramble as alternate. We have number 11 Space Outlaw, number 113 Ghostface, number 12 Tiny Tornado, number 19 Violet Voltage, number 24 River Runner. We have number 28 Fall from Grace, number 3 Roller Squatch, 333 Curly Fry, 3838 Ultimate Life Form, number 7 Glitter, look like an alternate. We have number 77 Banshee, number 888 Helvira, number 9484 Panic Attack, and number 99 Bilbo Bashins, and finally number 56 Bruiser. Looks like our skating officials are ready to get back to it, so I will announce the Cincinnati skaters shortly. That whistle tells us that the game is back on, and we wait for that 5-second call. We have number 28 Grace out there, and also number 75 for Cincinnati, Jaws. Our Crooked River blockers look to be Panic Attack, Tiny Tornado, and Ultimate Life Form. Goose is in the box still, but standing. Will skate back out in the role of pivot. Jaws doing a little bit of blocking before trying to get through the pack, but Fall from Grace is through in no time for lead Jammer. Jaws, though, just getting through on her initial pass right after. Grace may be looking for a little bit of offense from her Crooked River team, gets what she needs. Nice little apex hop there on the inside. Coaches ask her to call it off, and she does. She scored 4 points. Looks like Cincinnati was able to score 2 before the end of that jam. Crooked River now, though, with 15 points to Cincinnati's 35. Out on the jam line next, we have number 24 River Runner and number 12 Smearcat. Crooked River line out there looks to be Space Outlaw, Bilbo Bashins. I can almost see them all, not quite, okay. Oh, and Helvira there, number 888. The jam has started. River immediately knocked to the outside, but is battling her way through the center of the pack. Number 1, 2, Smearcat, though, sneaky through on the inside there, but River right behind. Smearcat is your lead jammer. We'll see, it looks like her coaches are telling her to call it off. Maybe not. Okay. Trying to see what happened here. I'm not totally sure. Maybe 1 point scored by Cincinnati. No points for Crooked River. Out there we have number 28, Fall from Grace, versus number 17, Little Bruiser. Little Bruiser, I've noticed, likes to get that start in the back. Panic Attack sends Little Bruiser back there. And Fall from Grace is our lead jammer. Little Bruiser, though, is only about a half a lap behind. Grace hits that pack hard, calls off the jam. And looks like 3 points there for Crooked River. No points on that jam for Cincinnati. Violet Voltage out there on the jam line for Crooked River, and I see number 8-7, Fruit Punch, jamming for Cincinnati. Out on the line there, I see number 1-2, I believe Smearcat. Smearcat has been out on the track a lot today, both as a jammer and a blocker. Great endurance from that skater. Jam is on, Violet to the in, working her way to the middle. We have Fruit Punch dancing through that outside line, almost through, hit back by Tiny Tornado. Looks like number 8-7 might be getting a cut track. Possibly. Yeah, I think maybe that skater did not come back in quite behind Tiny Tornado. We still have Violet up there being knocked to the outside, looks like at the last second by a Cincinnati blocker. I'll see if I can get that blocker's number 30. That was Stella Stardust saving the day. Trying for that same move, but wasn't quite as successful this time. Violet, though, is knocked to the inside. Safely comes back. Looking for some offense from their team. Offense possibly led there by Space Outlaw. Oh, I see Crooked River is walling up. The other jammer is back out on the track. We still don't have a lead in this. Other jammer, having been in the box, will not be able to get lead in this jam, though. We'll find out if it will be a 2-minute jam or if Violet is able to work through. And Violet is through. Oh, no. Oh, Violet has been called off on a penalty. It was so exciting, I just knocked into the table. Violet has been called off on a penalty. That means this jam will go the full 2 minutes. Only about 30 seconds left in this jam, though. Ooh, okay, other jammer is being sent back to the box. As soon as that jammer sits down, we'll see Violet released from the box. Violet taking the long way around the track there, but Crooked River looks ready to offer all the offense that they have to give, sweeping the Cincinnati blockers to the outside to allow Violet to sneak through on the inside. Cincinnati jammer is already back in, having only to serve as much time as the Crooked River jammer did. That jam is over. No points scored on that jam, but all skaters working hard in that. Seeing a lot of familiar faces with our jammers out there. Out again, we have number 2-4 River Runner against number 7-5 Jaws. Jam has started. River Runner hitting the pack hard, but number 7-5 Jaws able to skate through to be lead jammer for Cincinnati. River ping-ponging off those blockers. Nice little spin by River. Didn't get her very far, but it looked real good. And then we see number 7-5 Jaws having skated through for the first 4 points of this jam. I see Panic Attack, I believe it is, reporting to the box for a penalty. River is out on her initial pass, but the jam is called off. Cincinnati not wanting Crooked River to score, but able to get another 4 points there in the end for her own team. We see 113 Ghostface out there getting a last few words of encouragement from her coach before the jam begins. There is possibly an official timeout here, looking to see. We may have a moment to announce some of our Cincinnati skaters. Here from Cincinnati today, we have number 12, Smearcat. We have number 15, Cherry Bomb. Number 17, Lil Bruiser. Number 18, Firefox. Number 21, Cookie Criminal. 22, Blazin' Grace. 25, Unicorn Fury. 29, Moody. Number 30, Stella Stardust. Number 40, Pandemonium. Number 44, Alt, Audrey Hitburn. Number 47, Mayhem. 58, Super Snake. 75, Jaws. 76, Crash Cake. 77, Alternate Me Long. Number 87, Fruit Punch. Gonna hear the start of this jam right now. We have Ghostface out there jamming against, I believe it's Super Snake. That's right, Super Snake. Super Snake is through for your lead jammer. Ghostface knocked to the outside just as she was about to get their initial pass. Super Snake already around the track, fast skater, almost blocked there by Roller Squatch, but able to stay inside. Ghostface through on the initial pass with a little help from their friends. Super Snake skating in to call off the jam. We have Cincinnati with 48 points, Crooked River with 21. I see a Little Bruiser out there for Cincinnati, and we have 2-8 out there, Fall from Grace. Also on the Crooked River line, I can see Bilbo Bashins, I can see Tiny Tornado, I can see Ultimate Lifeform. We do have one other skater out there. I'll try to get their name and number in a moment. Jam is on. Oh, Little Bruiser through on the outside like it was nothing. Fall from Grace stuck in a 3-wall towards the back of the pack. Crooked River offering a little bit of offense. Will they wall up in time for the jammer to come through? And they do. Nice block on the inside by Bilbo Bashins. Jammer is down on the inside line. Fall from Grace with her initial pass, but the jam is called off before any points can be scored by either team. We have number 87, Fruit Punch, out there for Cincinnati, and we also have number 24, River Runner, for Crooked River. That other blocker on the line was for Crooked River last jam, I think was number 56, Bruiser. River Runner having to work through her own pack a little bit there to get through, trying to get through on the middle. Sweeps through on that outside line to be declared lead jammer for Crooked River. Number 87 for Cincinnati has taken off the cover, is looking to pass to their pivot. Pivot is already forming up a wall though, ready to block River Runner on the scoring pass. River Runner knocked down pretty hard to the outside line, but rebounds with no problem. Looks like he's going to sneak through on the inside with a nice little hop to score 4 points for Crooked River and call off the jam, freezing Cincinnati at 51 points. Quick reminder about the Raise Some Cash for a Cause, hosted by Crooked River Roller Derby. That will take place on April 9th from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. at the Hot Heads in Brunswick at 3465 Center Road. They will get 25% of those proceeds, and it can be very helpful for our parents when we have a little bit of assistance with buying some gear, travel expenses, practice space rentals, and all the things that are associated with roller derby. Sponsors for Crooked River, let's give them a shout out. I see that we have TPV, Pokey Center. We have Ken Blaze, amazing photographer here in the house today. Turning Point Wealth, also a sponsor for Crooked River. Hope on Wheels, and our Teamsters Local 507, all great sponsors for Crooked River Roller Derby. We have perhaps an official timeout over there, an official review. I was not paying attention because I was reading sponsors, so I'm not quite sure. Skaters are returning to the track though, preparing for the beginning of the jam. Our OPRs, it looks like we have Killer Queen, Nick Tater, and I think that's Strong Female Protagonist down there, if I'm not mistaken. Fall from Grace, number 2-8, jamming for Crooked River against number 7-5, Jaws. Oh, fall from Grace through on the outside line in about 0 seconds flat. Jaws knocked back to the inside of the track, run a little bit back by Bilbo Bashins there. Cincinnati ready for fall from Grace, does a great spin on the inside, but it's just not quite enough to stay in bounds. We have Tiny Tornado reporting to the penalty box. Cincinnati Jammer is through for their initial pass. We'll see if Grace is going to call off the jam. They do call off the jam. I don't think any points were scored for Crooked River on that jam. Anyone who's familiar with roller derby knows that holding the score can be just as important as scoring points. So we will see our lead jammers calling off the jam before the other team can score. I see that number 1-2 out there to jam for Cincinnati, Smearcat, against 1-1-3, Ghostface. Whistle has blown, number 1-2 hitting the center of the Crooked River wall. They're holding them successfully. Ghostface trying to work through close to that outside line, gets knocked back and run back by, it looks like number 2-9 from Cincinnati. 2-9 being Moody. Violet Voltage out there playing the role or skating in the role of pivot. Ghostface almost seeing an opportunity there in the center of the track, but is knocked down by the Cincinnati blockers. Smearcat being held up pretty successfully by that Crooked River 3 wall there. Tiny Tornado has left that wall to offer some offense to Ghostface, but Ghostface is trapped on the outside and not able to access that right now. Someone is being called on a back block. It is our Crooked River jammer. Will serve 30 seconds in the box. That was enough to confuse everyone on the track for just a second for Smearcat to be able to get through on an initial pass. Smearcat is lead jammer for this jam. Smearcat causing a separation of the pack. One of the Crooked River's, Crooked River blockers has to skate back to hold pack. Smearcat is through with 4 points, bringing Cincinnati to 60 points during this jam. Ghostface back in, skates to the outside, run back there by number 30, Stella Stardust. Smearcat through on the inside. Panic Attack gave a good effort there to hold that skater. Super strong skater. We see a cut track penalty being called, I'm not sure, on our Crooked River jammer. Another 4 points scored by Cincinnati before the end of that jam. Crooked River starting with the jammer in the box, leaving, I believe it's Little Bruiser out there to be able to score, to get lead jammer and score possibly before Crooked River is out of the box. Crooked River has called for an official review. Out there we can see Crooked River coach along with Crooked River's Captain Goose. Cincinnati also joining the official review. Be a nice moment to give a shout out to our medics who happen to be sitting here right next to me today. Panic Attack's parents, nice enough to be medics today. It's really important to keep the kids safe during the game. They're here to respond in case of an emergency and to make sure that everyone leaves here healthy and happy. I can see in the crowd right now, I don't know if maybe the camera would pan over that way, but I can see Caitlin over there, former president of Crooked River Roller Derby. I also see Jolly Crusher over there, former skater for Crooked Crooked River Roller Derby who aged out. And then I also see Flame over there too. Flame plays for our level 3 Crooked River team, but has a knee injury right now and is here to support her team while she heals. Looks like the officials have come up with an answer to the official review. Cincinnati coach and captain being called out to hear the results. Little Bruiser have taken a moment to, it looks like maybe plank or rest. I'm not real sure if she's planking or napping out there on the track. Our Crooked River wall for our next jam will consist of Banshee number 77, Panic Attack, I think 9484, River Runner as pivot. Perhaps that official review was to contest a penalty for our jammer. Jammer still being in the box, so the penalty must not have been overturned. We still have Little Bruiser starting on a power jam. Cincinnati with 3 blockers out there on the track to Crooked River's 3 blockers. Little Bruiser chooses to take the inside line. River Runner says, no, I'm sorry, this is my space. Chases Little Bruiser to the outside line, successfully containing Little Bruiser in that 3 wall. Banshee keeping pack. Little Bruiser spinning, trying to find a way around River Runner. They have a small pile up there on the track. Little Bruiser, though, is up. Will not be declared lead jammer. Got a no pass, no penalty. Ghostface cannot get lead jammer skating out onto the track out of the penalty box without wearing the star. This jam will go the full 2 minutes. Two wall holding Little Bruiser. But we do have a white blocker being called off the track on a penalty. Tiny Tornado letting number 17 go. River Runner has taken the star pass from Ghostface, but cannot be declared lead jammer as she can't get lead on a star pass. Makes quick work of the other team on that outside line, as does Little Bruiser on the inside line. Both teams scoring 4 points so far in this jam. River Runner spinning on the outside line, but is knocked outside, looks like by number 25. Little Bruiser attempting, I think it was an apex jump, is able to, oh, nope, got a cut track. Must not have landed that all the way. Being called on a cut track by skating official Brianna Ruins. It is back to being a power jam, this time in Crooked River's favor. River Runner with a nice hop there on the inside, scoring an easy 4 points, bringing Crooked River up to 40 points in this game so far. The jam did run that full 2 minutes of time, with Crooked River scoring 8 points in that jam. Cincinnati also scoring 8 points in that jam. Cincinnati will start down a jammer, though. Will be a power start for our Crooked River home team. Fall from Grace is going to take advantage of this power start. Has out on the line for Crooked River, we have Violet Voltage, Space Outlaw, and Goose, making up a 3 wall. Banshee is in the penalty box, but is standing, so may be released soon. Official review called by Cincinnati. I'm gonna see if they'll let me come out to the official review. Sometimes they do. Let's try it out. We'll see if we get shooed away. I'm not sure what it was. I couldn't quite hear, and I didn't want to be in the way. It did have, I believe, something to do with Cincinnati's jammer. While the officials are talking that out, we have Coach Devious Diva taking advantage of that to give for skaters some advice out there on the track. There are, as you might be aware, many non-skating rules, official rules that are taken on by a lot of times our parents. We have people who serve as penalty wranglers. We have individuals running the penalty box. We have people running the scoreboard, as well as tracking the score. There is an answer for this official review. I'm trying to eavesdrop in here. I can't hear everything, but it looks from body language as if Cincinnati will not be retaining their official review. Everyone is sent back to their places. Game is back on. Next whistle will start the jam. We are still starting on that power jam with Fall from Grace, number 28. Crooked River skating up, maybe to sweep to the outside. Oh, maybe to sweep to the outside, or just to cause some chaos there amongst the Cincinnati blockers to give Fall from Grace an opportunity to skate through the pack. All blockers appear to be skating together. We'll see if Crooked River sees that other jammer is out of the box and skating. Fall from Grace is called off the track on a penalty, and Little Bruiser will be declared lead jammer. You can get lead jammer skating out of the penalty box if you start in the penalty box for that jam. We do have two Crooked River blockers reporting to the box right now. We have Banshee and we have Violet Voltage. That leaves 2-wall with Goose and Space Outlaw on the track to block Little Bruiser. Little Bruiser being on a power jam, likely going to get some offense there from the wall and skates through on that inside line. Crooked River jammer is standing, but there is time for a little bit of offense. Pivot skating up to give some offense to Little Bruiser, getting through that 2-wall. Fall from Grace is back out on the track for an initial pass. Little Bruiser having scored 12 points in this jam so far. Little Bruiser calling it off to freeze Crooked River at 40 points in that jam. Crooked River blockers out there right now. I see Panic Attack, Ultimate Lifeform, and Bilbo Bashins. Space Outlaw is in the box, but will be joining their wall shortly. See if I can catch a glimpse of our Cincinnati blockers that are out there right now. Blocking for Cincinnati, it looks like we have number 15, Cherry Bomb. We also have number 25, Unicorn Fury. And I can almost see the other one as soon as they turn around. Number 27 I see over there. Okay, and that's number 27 is also out there for Cincinnati. Do we have a 27? I must not be seeing those numbers correctly. I know you can't see me. If you could, you would think I was only maybe in my early to mid 20s, but I'm actually almost 50. My eyesight is failing me somewhat. That's what everyone wants to hear in their announcer, failing eyesight. Cincinnati, while it wasn't 2-7, 2-1, Cookie Criminal. 2-5, Unicorn Fury. 1-5, Cherry Bomb. There is someone else out there that I can almost see. There's an official review right now, which is why we're seeing a little bit of a break in the gameplay. We have Crooked River coach running to grab some paper towels. Common things that happen over on the bench. Sometimes you get a little bit of spilled water from the water bottles. You don't want to have wet wheels out there on the track. We have some moonwalk skaters out there. Panic Attack, Ultimate Life Form. Bilbo Bastion's trying it out too. Getting a little round of applause from their coach for their great moves. Skating officials maybe returning to their positions. Yep, looks like they are going to return to their positions. Out on the jam line for our next jam, we have number 2-4 River Runner and number 7-5 Jaws. Jam is on. River Runner hitting the pack hard with a nice shoulder hit there, but number 7-5 getting through on the inside of the track to be lead jammer. Number 24 about a half lap behind there with their initial pass. Pack is skating kind of quickly, only one Crooked River blocker to get through as the others were swept to the side. 4 points were scored for Cincinnati before the end of that jam. River Runner sure did a nice job getting through the pack on the initial pass to free Cincinnati at 90 points. Cincinnati is, though, in the lead with that 90 points over Crooked River's 40. We have Ghostface 113 jamming for Crooked River against Smearcat 1-2. Smearcat is at the top of the pack, one more blocker to get through, gets through and is our lead jammer. Ghostface knocked to the outside line and run back by Cincinnati blocker number 58, Super Snake. Super Snake still giving Ghostface a difficult time there on that outside line. Ghostface has taken off the star and is looking to pass. Someone is being called on a penalty. It is our Violet Voltage pivot being called off the track on a penalty. Ghostface is through for an initial pass, but Smearcat calls off the jam after scoring 4 points for Cincinnati. Nice to see so many faces here today cheering for Crooked River Roller Derby. We are at intermission. Intermission is going to be for about 15 minutes. At the conclusion of intermission, we'll check back in and see if we're ready to start the game again. Intermission has officially come to an end. Skaters are reporting out to the track. Starting us off in the first jam of the second half, we have number 24 River Runner and number 75 Jaws as our jammers. Cincinnati blocker line, we have number 22 Blazin' Grace. We have number 21 Cookie Criminal, 15 Cherry Bomb, one other one out there that we'll get to in just a moment. Jaws has chosen to take the top, pushing the Crooked River blockers away from the Cincinnati blockers, but River Runner is so sneaky, gets through on that inside line to be declared our lead jammer. Jaws is, though, not even 20 feet behind. River hits the pack and calls off the jam. Let's see if we have some points scored for either team here. Maybe 2 points scored for Crooked River, 3 points scored for Cincinnati in that first jam of the second half. At the end of that jam, we're left with a score of 97 Cincinnati, 42 Crooked River. Second jam about to begin. We have Fall from Grace, and then we have Super Snake for Cincinnati. Super Snake, only having to battle through, I think it's 2 blockers out there, is declared lead jammer. Violet Voltage out of the penalty box, trying to offer a little bit of offense to Fall from Grace. Fall from Grace being held pretty successfully for a moment, but is out now, having gotten their initial pass. Crooked River blocker skating to the top to block Super Snake. Bilbo Bastion's blocking on the outside, but Super Snake getting through to score 4 points for Cincinnati in that jam, holding Crooked River at 0 points. We have Lil Bruiser, number 17, jamming for Cincinnati against Ghostface, 1-1-3. Cincinnati blockers, number 21, Cookie Criminal. We have I think it's number 76, Crash Cake. Number 47, Mayhem. And number 15, Cherry Bomb. Lil Bruiser will be our lead jammer for Cincinnati. Tiny Tornado sweeping through on the inside, trying to offer offense to Ghostface, but Ghostface stuck on that outside line. Ghostface being called off on a penalty, but so is Cincinnati's pivot. Cincinnati down to 2 blockers as well as Crooked River. Little Bruiser making short work of the small wall there for Crooked River with a short apex jump. Crooked River skating up and away from the other pack. Goose being called off on a penalty. I'm not sure, it might have been a direction. Little Bruiser through, scoring 4, having only to get through 1 Crooked River blocker. Space Outlaw attempting to get up there with Tiny to help block, unable. Tiny being called off on a penalty next. It is hard to do if you knew roller derby when you suddenly find yourself out there as the only blocker on the track, like Space Outlaw is now. Being the only blocker on the track still offers some offense. Almost called off on a penalty, but I guess not. That was a little bit of a confusing jam. We have some of our skaters out there looking like they were a little unsure, but as I said, being the only blocker out on the track can be a little overwhelming. Crooked River starting down 2 blockers. I believe that leaves 2 blockers out on the track. Violet Voltage having to remove that pivot cover as the pivot is in the box. Space Outlaw and Violet Voltage taking the top. 3 wall for Cincinnati. River Runner being the Crooked River jammer, and number 87 Fruit Punch for Cincinnati. River Runner immediately through on that inside line. Despite being a 2 wall, they were able to hold the Cincinnati jammer for a moment. Cincinnati jammer, though, is now through on a scoring pass. River calls it off, freezing Cincinnati with 0 points in that jam. River Runner able to score 4 points for Crooked River, bringing them up to 46 in the second half. Fall from Grace, number 28, our Crooked River jammer. We have two skaters out there. Oh, maybe a timeout being called. Timeout being called for Crooked River. Doing a little switch up with the blockers there. Looks like we'll be starting the next jam with a 2-wall for Crooked River, Panic Attack, and Goose. Cincinnati will be starting with a 3-wall. They have number 21 there, Cookie Criminal. They have number 25, Unicorn Fury, and number 15, Cherry Bomb. Jamming for Cincinnati will be number 75, Jaws. Officials taking advantage of this timeout to talk maybe about different calls that they've been making, things to watch out for, and so on. Panic Attack and Goose out there looking like they are developing a plan for their 2-wall, looking confident on the track. Fall from Grace, staring down the Cincinnati blockers. Whistle is blown. Grace hits that 3-wall, gets right through them. Oh, and skirts through on the inside on 1 foot to be declared our lead jammer. Jaws do almost the same move that Fall from Grace did, getting through on that inside line on their initial pass. Grace being on a scoring pass to see if she calls off the jam. She calls off the jam. Cincinnati scoring 3 on that, Crooked River scoring 2. Bringing the score 123 for Cincinnati and 48 for Crooked River. Crooked River starting with a 3-wall. Looks like we still have 1 blocker in the box. We have 24 jamming. That is River Runner jamming for Crooked River. Cincinnati also with a 3-wall. And we have our jammer, Smearcat, number 1-2. Blocking for Cincinnati, I can see number 58, Super Snake, out there. I also see number 40, Pandemonium. And then I think that's number 30, Stella Stardust. Blocking for Crooked River, I see Banshee. I see Roller Squatch and Bilbo Bashins. 5 seconds has been called. Smearcat starting behind the Crooked River jammer, following their path. Diverting to the outside, sneaking through on that outside line, but blocked successfully by Bilbo Bashins in the middle. River Runner being run back by Stella Stardust. And Smearcat being declared our lead jammer. River Runner being only a couple of feet behind. Forgot the word for a minute. Both jammers skating up fast to the pack. Smearcat calling off the jam. I think it might be 0-0. Oh no, what was I thinking? We have 3 points scored there for Crooked River. Way to go, River Runner, scoring a couple of points there to Cincinnati. 0 points for that jam. Jammers will try sometimes to have the jam called off at the last second to prevent the other team from scoring, but it does rely on the referees seeing that the jam is being called off. They do have to blow those whistles. All of those things take time. So occasionally in trying to call off a jam, you do allow the other team to score. Looks like we have Cincinnati as our lead jammer against Fall from Grace. Little Bruiser deciding to call off that jam. Neither team with a scoring pass. Dictator, Antagonist, and Killer Queen still rocking the OPR. We have Antagonist up leading the skating officials on the outside, Dictator in the middle, and Killer Queen in the back. We have Fruit Punch jamming for Cincinnati and Ghostface jamming for Crooked River. Fruit Punch really going to the ins, the outs, to the ins, the outs, pushing through the middle, trying whatever they can to get through the pack, and was successful. Cincinnati will be declared our lead jammer for this jam. Panic Attack, having been released from the box, will complete our Crooked River wall. I think they have 4 out. Oh, they have a 3 wall still out there. Cincinnati jammer working her way through those, while we have Ghostface still stuck on a Cincinnati 3 wall, not having gotten their initial pass just yet. Ghostface being run back on the inside. Tiny Tornado released from the penalty box, going to make up that 4 wall now for Crooked River. Hopefully holding their jammer back. Nice run back there, it looks, by number 30. I think that's Stella Stardust running back. Crooked River jammer, probably 20 to 30 feet in the back of the pack. Tiny Tornado, though, doing the same thing to their jammer, also running them back. Ghostface out with the initial pass, putting the star cover back on, skating around, ready to score. Cincinnati jammer decides to call off that jam to keep Crooked River at 0 points for that jam. Cincinnati will leave that jam with 4. Our current score right now is Cincinnati in the lead with 127, Crooked River with 51. River Runner will take the jam line for Crooked River, and we have Jaws taking the jam line for Cincinnati. I have some skaters sitting kind of close to me on their bench, hoping to get some shout outs today. Jaws through as our lead jammer, but River Runner right behind. I can hear Jaws being cheered for on the bench, scoring a couple, doing a nice job skating through, already starting to call off that jam, hoping to score that 4 points before Crooked River can come up to the back of the pack. Out there next for Cincinnati, I can see number 40, Pandemonium. I have 30, Stella Stardust. We have number 12, Smearcat. There is one more out there. I can see their number. I think it's Super Snake. Oh, Super Snake is our jammer, number 58. Fall from Grace being Crooked River's jammer. Both jammers hitting the pack hard, working their way through. Fall from Grace is going to come out on top, though, scoring our lead jammer, taking big skate strides, hoping to hit the back of the pack before Cincinnati's jammer is able to get out. Cincinnati's jammer removing the helmet cover, looking to possibly pass the star, but still working their way through the pack while they wait. Fall from Grace through on the inside, takes a bit of a tumble to see if she's okay, and they are okay. Hopping up to skate, scoring 4 points for Crooked River. Cincinnati's jammer almost through the pack. Last-ditch block attempt by Panic Attack. Does slow the jammer down, but Super Snake is through, putting the cover back on a scoring pass, or about to come up on a scoring pass. Fall from Grace calling off that jam. Fall from Grace scoring 7 points there. Very nice for Crooked River on that jam. Able to hold Cincinnati at 0 points in that jam, bringing our score 58 Crooked River to 131 Cincinnati. Crooked River calling for an official review. We're going to take a sneaky out there and see if we could eavesdrop a little bit, but I'm not real sure if I'll be successful this time. Let's give it a try. While we're waiting for this official review to begin, we can see that Cincinnati is in a nice little huddle there in the middle, thinking up their strategy. Then we have our jammers sitting together posing for our fantastic photographer, Ken Blaze. Official review officially being called by the white team. Crooked River, it looks like they're looking for a back block penalty to be called on a Cincinnati blocker against, I believe, a Crooked River jammer. Official reviews are a great time for our skaters to take a much needed breather. They're out there working so hard today. And also probably for our coaches to decompress just a little bit. Nice to give a little break too to our non-skating officials as well. The skating officials have made a decision. We'll see if we can figure out what that decision was. Okay, for that, White has lost their official review. Skating officials were not able to see the initiation of the back block penalty that Crooked River was looking for. Just got a nice little high from River Runner, Crooked River's jammer. River Runner will be jamming next for Crooked River and Little Bruiser for Cincinnati. We are starting with a full 4-wall for Cincinnati versus a 3-wall for Crooked River. Pivot is in the box. River Runner doing a little jammer on jammer action at the beginning of that jam, not slowing Little Bruiser down though as she works her way up through the middle of the pack, skating to the ins and the outs and being declared our lead jammer. River Runner still stuck in the back, blocked by 2 of Cincinnati's blockers, just getting past number 7-6, but knocked down, I think it was by 15 Cherry Bomb and run back. See number 47 there, bracing for their wall. River Runner making another attempt to skate up. We have Little Bruiser through for 4 points on a scoring pass. River Runner again knocked to the outside, possibly looking for a little bit of offense from Space Outlaw. Space Outlaw does have a goat, number 76. Their crash cake, and it might have been just enough to get River Runner through and Little Bruiser to call off the jam. I believe Little Bruiser was able to score 8 points on that jam, and holding River Runner's points at 0 just for that jam. We now have a score of 139 Cincinnati to 58 Crooked River. Filet official calling for a little bit of correction there on our jam clock so that we can get things started again. Next jam has started. We have number 87 jamming for Cincinnati. That is Fruit Punch. But Fall from Grace jamming for Crooked River, being declared our lead jammer. Fruit Punch being called off the track on a penalty. Fall from Grace getting a little help from her friends there on the inside, trying to spin across that inside line, but being knocked out at that last moment, I think by number 36. Oh, number 30, Stella Stardust. Grace through to score 4 points for Crooked River. Fruit Punch has been released from the box. Number 30, Stella Stardust, being called off on perhaps a high block. Fruit Punch with a big hit to Banshee on the inside, knocking Banshee down. Banshee's back up though and has rejoined their wall. Fruit Punch being knocked to the outside by Panic Attack. Unable to run back the jammer though, Smearcat put the kibosh on that. We have Fall from Grace through with another 4 points for Crooked River. And Fruit Punch through on their initial pass. Coming around on a scoring pass, hopefully thinking to put that star back on. I don't believe score any points if the star is not on. Might be getting, yeah, not getting any points scored because they don't have that cover on. That is a bummer for Cincinnati, though they do have a nice solid lead at this point in the game. Having had a little experience jamming myself, I know sometimes that we get jammer vision, and that probably just happened with our Cincinnati jammer there. Out next, I believe we have a new face for Crooked River jamming. That is Goose. I think this might be Goose's first jam of the game against Jaws, number 7-5. I see Curly Fry out there blocking for Crooked River, coming in to support her wall. Turning around, becoming the brace, knocked down by number 75, but taking 75 with her as she went. Jaws will be declared our lead jammer. Goose being run back by number 25, Unicorn Fury. Unicorn Fury rejoining their wall, holding strong, working with Cookie Criminal to hold Goose back. Jaws through on, it looked like the inside line through Crooked River's wall on a scoring pass, 4 points. Goose has taken off the cover, is looking for a little help from their pivot. Space Outlaw being the pivot for that. Tiny with a nice run back for number 7-5 Jaws. Space Outlaw has taken that cover and is through on an initial pass. Jaws calls off the jam, keeping Crooked River at 0 points in that jam. Cincinnati with 151. Seeing some new faces out there jamming for Crooked River. Now I see Bilbo Bastions, number 99, and that will be versus Super Snake, number 58. Out there blocking for Cincinnati, I think I see Stella Stardust, I see Smearcat, and is that Cherry Bomb out there too, maybe? Oh, Bilbo Bastions just kind of forcing her way through the pack there on the inside. Very strong skating from that skater. Through on an initial pass, coming around on a scoring pass. Super Snake still hung up on a Crooked River's wall, being held back by Panic Attack. Someone being called off on a penalty. We have a Cincinnati blocker being called off on a penalty. Bilbo able to score another 4 points, I think. Was that 8 points for Bilbo, or was that 4? I'm only seeing 4 up on the scoreboard, and then holding Cincinnati at 0 points there. Crooked River now at a lucky 77 points versus Cincinnati's 151 points. I don't know whoever made the rule that 7s were lucky numbers, but that's what they did. I see Little Bruiser out there, number 17, jamming for Cincinnati against Ghostface, number 113. Helvira out there holding strong, bracing for the wall, trying to hold Little Bruiser back. Little Bruiser just kind of bouncing off the blockers like a little ping pong ball and gets through there. Super classy. Ghostface being run back, but the Cincinnati blocker, number 15, Cherry Bomb, being called off on a penalty during that run back. Tiny Tornado with another run back too in this game. As you could probably hear our crowd cheering, we have Ghostface getting through on a scoring pass, scoring 4 points there. Little Bruiser being called off on a cut track, skating fast to get to the penalty box. The faster that skater sits down, the faster they'll get out of the penalty box. We are now on a power jam for Crooked River. Nick Tater calling one of, I think it was a Crooked River skater, must have been another Cincinnati blocker. Cincinnati with 3 blockers on the track, Crooked River with 4. Crooked River skating up to give some offense on the inside line. Ghostface trying to follow that offense, but getting knocked out of bounds by number 15, Cherry Bomb. Run back, Cherry Bomb called off on a penalty. Tiny offering a little bit of offense there to Ghostface, but Ghostface unable to get through before Cincinnati had closed up that hole. Little Bruiser furiously coming back onto the track, scoring a quick 4 points, about 2 seconds it seemed after she got out of the penalty box. Cincinnati ready to offer some offense here. As we see, Crooked River's jammer has been sent to the penalty box. Looks like they are doing a little bit of skate maintenance, taking advantage of that little rest time. Little Bruiser knocked down hard to the inside, but bounces up like never happened at all. Let's see if we can get a few points for Little Bruiser up on the scoreboard in the last final seconds of that jam. 2. So I think that would be a total of 6 My counting must be off today. Don't listen to me. Cincinnati, well, you should listen to me because I'm the announcer, but don't listen too hard. We have 4 points scored in that jam for Cincinnati. Oh, 6. Okay, see, I did have it. And then we have 11 points scored for Crooked River. Nice jam there by Ghostface. Out on the track, we have Curly Fry dancing her way out onto the track. We also have Panic Attack, Roller Squatch, and Banshee. Timeout called by Cincinnati, I believe. Nice time for everybody to just take a breather. Looks like our skating officials are in the center of the track, getting a much-deserved sip of water. Cincinnati team gathered around their coaches right now, listening intently. We also have one of the Crooked River coaches out there in the center talking to the next line. A little bit of track maintenance going on the track as well. We like to make sure that we keep the tape down real solid over that rope. Timeout has concluded. Skaters are returning to the track. Number 59 from Cincinnati clapping and cheering, ready to go, ready to play. We have Fruit Punch jamming for Cincinnati. I see Smearcat out there as pivot. We have number 58, number 18, and number 30, Stella Stardust, blocking for Cincinnati. Crooked River Jammer is starting in the box, but standing, so it won't be very long. Fruit Punch really wants to get lead jammer before Crooked River skater is released from the box. Will they be able to get it? Looks like yes, we have a lead jammer. Ghostface has been released from the box. Nice little hops there trying to get through the pack. Run back by number 58 on Cincinnati. 58 being Super Snake, I knew that. Crooked River blocker Panic Attack being sent to the box on a penalty. We have Fruit Punch coming around on a scoring pass, knocking into Curly Fry, knocking Curly Fry out of bounds, but knocking herself out of bounds a little bit as well. Then scooting through for an easy 4 points. I say easy as an observer. I know they're out there working hard. Ghostface charging through on the inside, getting the initial pass. Picking up speed a little bit, coming around the track, hoping to score, but we had Fruit Punch call off that jam. Jaws being a very familiar face out there on the jam line for Cincinnati. We can also see Cookie Criminal, Blazin' Grace, Cherry Bomb, and there is somebody else out there that I can almost see, Unicorn Fury. Out on the Crooked River line. Does Crooked River only have 2 blockers out there right now? I do believe we have Tiny and Bilbo Bashins attempting to hold back Jaws, but Jaws says not today. Tiny makes a last-ditch effort. Oh, something happened and Jaws was called off on a penalty. I don't know if Jaws was declared lead before that or if lead is still open. Goose wearing the star for Crooked River. Looking for some offense from Panic Attack. Panic Attack sweeping from the outside towards the in, opening up a hole. Goose is able to get through, but is swallowed back up into Cincinnati's wall. Goose reporting to the penalty box now. As soon as she sits down, Jaws will be released. Jaws is out of the penalty box. Cannot be declared lead jammer, of course, at this point. This jam will go the full 2 minutes with 1 minute and 10 seconds left in the jam. Nice spin move there by Jaws, just getting past Panic Attack, Banshee, and Tiny. Now on a scoring pass. Crooked River skating up, attempting to hold that jammer, but jammer scoots through on the inside line. Bilbo Bashins returning to the Crooked River wall. Now Crooked River is 4 strong. Cincinnati with a 3 wall. Not offering offense to Jaws, letting Jaws battle it out on their own because we have Goose coming, released from the box as Crooked River's jammer. Goose attempting to get through on the inside, following Panic Attack's offense, but was swallowed back into that wall. Cincinnati Wall doing a nice job holding Goose on the inside line. Number 22, Blazing Grace, bent over, like folded in half, holding our jammer back, but Crooked River's jammer is through on their initial pass. Jaws is attempting to call it off, but has forgotten possibly that they are not lead. Very much used to being lead, though, in this game. A really skilled jammer for Cincinnati. That was a great jam for Cincinnati with, I believe, 16 points scored in that, holding Crooked River at 0. 0 points in that jam. Oh, 1 point now. Goose got a point up there on the board. So now Crooked River is up to 89 points. Cincinnati at 181. Smearcat, another familiar face on the track. I know that I've said earlier I see Smearcat out there a lot, both as a jammer, a pivot, and a blocker. And then I see River Runner over there as well. River Runner ready for that jam. You guys are doing great. Just got a few seconds there to talk to Crooked River's jammer, River Runner. Some of you may be aware I did coach Crooked River in the past. Some of the skaters asking about what I think of all the progress they made, and I'll be honest, I see a lot of progress out there on the track, and I'm very proud of all of them. You can see that they have a very strong coaching team. They also have some strong support out there in the crowd. I know that I see Jolly Crusher out there, and is that Ida? I also see Ida, which is interesting to see Ida on the Ides of March. There was an official review called while I was busy not paying attention, so we won't know what this one was called for, I don't think. But I believe the official review was called by Cincinnati. Next jam will be River Runner against Smearcat. Out there on the blocker line for Cincinnati, I can see number, I think is that 30, number 30, Stella Stardust out there. I also see number 29, Moody, number 58, Super Snake, and number 40, Pandemonium out there as well. Always fun to watch junior roller derby, seeing the kids get along, having a great time out there on the track. I'm not sure what the official review was, but I do believe that I see Crooked River's pivot reporting to the box, so possibly Cincinnati was able to retain their official review. Crooked River will start the next jam with a 3-wall. We have number 19, Violet Voltage. We have number 12, Tiny Tornado, and number 11, Space Outlaw. I can see our Crooked River jammer, River Runner, having a nice time talking with the blockers from Cincinnati. I don't know what they're talking about, but they're laughing pretty hard. Five seconds has been called. Oh, River Runner hitting the wall on the outside, opening just enough space to scoot through there, being declared lead jammer for Crooked River. Smearcat being held on the outside by Space Outlaw, but does get through. Smearcat coming around on a scoring pass right behind Crooked. Oh, it looks like River Runner has been called off. I don't know if they scored any points before that, but has been called off on a penalty. It's a power jam now in Cincinnati's favor. Smearcat being held up successfully for a few seconds at least by Space Outlaw, and I think it was Violet Voltage out there. Fall from Grace has returned to the track as pivot. Crooked River has a 3-wall once again. Cincinnati blockers giving a lot of offense to Smearcat, just causing a little bit of chaos and allowing Smearcat to work her way through on the outside. Her trajectory does take her out of bounds though, and she's being skated back by Space Outlaw number 11. River Runner back out on the track on a scoring pass, I do believe. Continuation of the previous scoring pass. River Runner hitting shoulder after shoulder here with the Cincinnati blockers through and scores 4. Smearcat still working their way through the pack on the inside, having a little bit of help from Stella Stardust, but not quite enough to get through. River Runner with a jump on the inside, and it looked like a straightaway jump to me, not even an apex jump, which is really quite fantastic. I remember River's very first apex jump, and now she just does them like they're nothing. We see River scoring another 4 points on the inside. Cincinnati blockers offering some offense. Smearcat getting through on, oh, I'm sorry, Smearcat did have an initial pass there and has now scored 4 points. My mistake. If you can hear the cheering from the crowd, that's because River has scored another 4 points. That jam ends. Huge jam for Crooked River on that one by River Runner, 16 points. I don't have the best memory, but I think that might be the biggest jam for Crooked River so far. Cincinnati Junior Roller Derby with 189 points. Crooked River, though, really kind of closing up that gap a bit, now at 105 points. Cincinnati did score 8 on that, so I was real off. I was real off on that one. I apologize to Smearcat. I see Little Bruiser out there jamming for Cincinnati. Bilbo Bashin's really hitting hard with the shoulders as a jammer for Crooked River. Little Bruiser doing those spins that I'm starting to get to know her by. But Bilbo Bashin's sneaking through on the inside, saw the hole, took it. Little Bruiser just now getting an initial pass. Bilbo attempting an apex jump. It was actually super cool with a nice roll, but it just didn't quite get the job done. We'll see if she called off the jam in time to keep Cincinnati from scoring, and she did. Little Bruiser followed that up, though, with a nice apex jump of her own. It was just perhaps maybe a second too late. We have Goose returning to the jam line as our jammer for Crooked River, and we have Fruit Punch, also a very familiar face out there jamming for Cincinnati. Cincinnati starting there with a 3 wall, Crooked River starting with a 4. I see Bruiser out there blocking for Crooked River. Banshee with a nice little run back to Fruit Punch. Fruit Punch has to start all over again behind the jam line. Fall from Grace, usually see her at a jammer cover, but we're seeing some blocking and pivoting going on. Fruit Punch is through with an initial pass, coming around to score against Crooked River. Goose still stuck on that Cincinnati wall, possibly being called off on a cut track. I think 58, yeah. Number 58, Super Snake, had run back Crooked River's jammer. They didn't realize that, came in front. Fruit Punch coming around to score another 4 points, kind of tip-tapping their way through the pack there. Goose, having a seat in the penalty box, has removed the star, possibly planning on passing that when she comes back out onto the track. We have Tiny Tornado with a back block penalty reporting to the penalty box. Banshee with another run back on Fruit Punch, but that run back has been shut down. We are going to take a short break for just a moment. Back live. Next jam is being planned out here. We have Ghostface taking the jam line for Crooked River, and we have Jaws taking the jam line for Cincinnati. Blocking out there for Cincinnati right now. Let's see, I see number 21 out there, Cookie Criminal. I see number 15, Cherry Bomb. Looks like number 22, Blazin' Grace, might be making their way out there as well. And number 25, Unicorn Fury. Never want to face the fury of a unicorn. Blocking for Crooked River, taking the top up there out on the track. I see Space Outlaw, Violet Voltage, and is that Ultimate Life Form, I do believe. Our skating officials are having a little talk there towards the middle, maybe thinking about that last jam. I can see Banshee giving the thumbs up to her team. Banshee doing some really nice blocking today. I'm seeing a lot of blocking and a lot of running back of the Cincinnati skaters, especially on that outside line. Okay, there's that whistle that is calling our attention back to the game. We have our OPRs returning back to the outside of the track just in time for that whistle to be blown. In fact, we still had a referee on the track at that moment, but they were able to get off. Ghostface being run back on the outside by number 21 on Cincinnati. We have Jaws being declared lead jammer for that, a familiar sight today. Space Outlaw attempting to knock Jaws to the inside line, but Jaws deflected that hit, bounced off of Violet, and scored 4 points. Ghostface working their way through the pack on the outside. Violet attempting to slow Jaws down, but Jaws scoring that 4 points, calling off the jam, freezing Crooked River's score at 106. We have Super Snake out there jamming for Cincinnati, and Fall from Grace jamming for Crooked River. For Cincinnati, I see Smearcat as pivot. I see Stella Stardust out there, Pandemonium, and there was one more. Looks like they are taking advantage of this short reprieve. Perhaps they called a timeout, I'm not sure. Taking advantage of the short reprieve to catch their breath, grab a sip of water, think of what their game plan is going to be. Score right now, we have Crooked River sitting at 106 points. We have Cincinnati Junior Roller Derby at 208 points. Cincinnati returning to the track. Much time left in this game today. We have all the skaters standing up near the outside of the track ready to cheer on the last jam, what could be, it probably is the last jam of the game. Both jammers taking off at the whistle. Fall from Grace coming out ahead, being declared our lead jammer. Cincinnati blocker Stella Stardust being called off on a penalty. We do have jammer Super Snake, though, coming up right behind Fall from Grace. Fall from Grace spinning through on the inside line to score 4 points for Crooked River. Super Snake also scoring that 4, just getting past Ultimate Life Form on the inside. Fall from Grace coming up. Goose causing a little bit of chaos so that Grace was able to get through, but is now being run back by Cincinnati blocker. Goose reporting to the penalty box. Lots of whistles happening, lots of whistles. I think that maybe Grace called off that jam. Our unofficial score is Cincinnati Junior Roller Derby with 214 points, and Crooked River Roller Derby with 113 points. Just over a 100-point spread in that game today. We'll see if it is being called official. Both of the teams are having their post-game huddle. Jam refs reporting to the scorekeepers, and that has been called official. Official, the end of the game. If you would like to stay with us, I think for just a moment or two longer, we get to high-five the skaters as they skate around the track, congratulating them all on a game well played and the excellent sportsmanship that we saw out here today. Let's see if we can hear some of what they have to say as they skate around. We'll see if we can hear anything that they're going to say. Here comes Cincinnati first. There we go, getting some nice high fives. All right, getting some nice thank yous too from Cincinnati. What a nice team. Looking real good out there, Cincinnati. Nice job. Good game, guys. Good game. Crooked River making a nice little archway for Cincinnati to skate through. And I believe it might be Crooked River's turn to take a lap around. Let's see if we can hear any of what they have to say as well. Here they come. River Runner is guiding the rest of their team through. Great game, River. I see we have Banshee coming up. There's Banshee, Space Outlaw, Curly Fry, Bilbo Bastions, Goose, Violet Voltage, Grace. We have Ghostface, Roller Squatch, Ultimate Lifeform, Bruiser, and Helvira. I think I got them all. That was a whirlwind. In a moment, if you are still tuned in, we'll get to hear who our MVPs are. After the game, the skaters like to meet up and say who did they notice on the other team as one of the most valuable players of the day. I can see where some of the decision might be a little bit difficult today. We saw a lot of strong jammers for both teams, and then we also saw some real strong blocking. A good offense given by both teams, helping their jammers out. A few shout outs. We didn't do too many since we don't have any in-house sound. But for those of you listening online, we have a nice shout out for Strawberry Pancake from Mom and Jeremy. It says you're the best chicken nugget in the world. We have a shout out for Bruiser here. It looks like maybe it's from Dad. We're so proud. Love you. Another one for Bruiser from Grandma and Papa. You are awesome. We love you. And then just again, thinking about while we're waiting on those MVPs, let's remind everybody who our sponsors are. Our sponsors for Crooked River Roller Derby. We have the Cleveland Guardians sponsoring Crooked River Roller Derby. We also have TPV Pokey Center, Ken Blaze as our photographer, Turning Point Wealth, Hope on Wheels, and the Teamsters Local 507. Final reminder, at least in this segment, about the fundraiser Crooked River is hosting at Hothead Burritos. Raise some cash for a cause. Join them on April 9th from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. to support Crooked River Roller Derby. Just present a flyer. I'm sure you can grab one from the team. Maybe they can even email you one. Present the flyer to the cashier, and they're going to donate 25% of your purchase towards Crooked River Roller Derby. Only in-store orders are accepted for fundraisers, and this is at the Brunswick location at 3465 Center Road. We have the skaters gathering towards the middle here, getting their pictures taken by Ken Blaze, photographer extraordinaire. Usual suspects are laying down there in the front, I can see. Nice to get that picture at the end of the game with all of the skaters together. combining our skaters from Crooked River Roller Derby with our skaters from Cincinnati Junior Roller Derby. Lots of I love yous, lots of hugs out there. Cincinnati really showed up today, showed us some excellent jamming and blocking from our Cincinnati Junior Roller Derby today. And as I said, also seeing a lot of growth from Crooked River Roller Derby, seeing them grow over the years and seeing everything that they have learned is always a fantastic experience. Also, just to see how tall they've gotten. Like some of them were already taller than I was, but I'm seeing now that most of them have now surpassed me in height, especially when they have their skates on. I'm just standing out here in the middle of the track, probably looking like I'm talking to myself. It's fine. It's fine.
It's kind of weird.
Well, we have Ken Blaze here. Ken, anything to say about the game today? How'd it go?
Crooked River played really well.
Yeah.
Against an obviously more mature opponent.
Yeah,
But,
tell me a little bit about what you thought about River's jamming today, because I saw some stuff from River.
She's got some stuff going
Yeah, she's got some stuff going on.
Sure. I think all the jammers did well on Crooked River. They were playing against a tougher team. They did a good job.
They did. They did a good job. I thought they held it together real good. Good sportsmanship throughout. Lots of friendliness here today. Ultimate Lifeform is here. Oh, I'm still on the live feed, so I was just saying I see Ultimate Life. Oh, your makeup looks fantastic. I don't know if those of you at home can see. Okay, I think MVPs might be announced right now. It's possible. Okay, MVPs given out by Crooked River coach. Most valuable jammer for Crooked River is River Runner. River Runner getting MVP jammer for Crooked River in this game versus Cincinnati. Most valuable jammer, Lil Bruiser, number 17 from Cincinnati. Well earned by both of those jammers today. Blocker from Cincinnati, number 30, that is Stella Stardust. Yep, Stella Stardust. Oh, and we have MVP blocker, Tiny Tornado. So again, for those of you at home, Crooked River MVPs. MVP jammer is River Runner. MVP blocker is Tiny Tornado. For Cincinnati Junior Roller Derby, we have MVP jammer, Lil Bruiser, and MVP blocker, Stella Stardust. I am going to go ahead and sign off. I think I might have already been signed off, but I'm going to go ahead and sign off. And I hope to see some of you back for our game coming up here at 1 p.m. We get to see our level 2 skaters, as level 2 from Crooked River, as well as our level 2 skaters from Cincinnati Junior Roller Derby.